Hey guys, this is Michelle with Michelle's Scrapbooking Thoughts. Welcome back to tonight 2 of my annual new catalog kickoff launch party. We're going to be working with the Countryside Suite tonight. So I'm just getting on a little bit so I can get everything shared and let people find me and get on. I'm really excited about this suite. You can do quite a bit with it, whether you're doing your scrapbooking pages or you're making a card or, guys, I like to make my homemade albums, so it's really versatile. If you already don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator and you're not already working with somebody, I'd love to work with you. You can leave comments below. You can send me a personal message. You can call me. You can email me at michellescrapbookingthoughts@gmail.com, and I would love to answer any questions that you might have. But this one is in the new annual catalog, like I said, and I'm going to do a walkthrough with everybody on Friday. That's what I plan to do, is do a walkthrough page by page with everybody so you can see it. If you don't currently have a catalog and you want one, you can place an order with me of $40 or more before shipping and tax, and I will send you a catalog. Or I will sell you one for $9. That's $5 for the catalog and $4 for shipping. So this is the Countryside Inn Suite. It comes with, if you buy it all together, it comes with the beautiful paper. It comes with the beautiful, beautiful embossing folder. This is a beautiful embossing folder. Absolutely gorgeous. It comes with the stamp, and I was a little taken back when I saw the stamp, and it's just one stamp, but I thought, okay, it's got layers to it, but it doesn't. It's just one big stamp. Now, with a stamp this big, it is going to require the biggest block that we have, and I believe this is an F, an E or an F. I'll have to look it up in a minute. Hold on. They used to make them to mark them, but I don't see it. But you need the biggest block that they have for this one. I mean, it literally needs, it's not going to fit on any other block but this one. Hey Pam, hey Cinda, glad you're here. So I really, really am liking that. Let me make sure about that block because I don't want to tell you wrong and you get something that's too short. Okay, it is block, let me see, 3 7/16. That's more than 3 inches, I believe. Yeah, this is block F. It's 4 7/8 by 6 inches. So it is the biggest block that we have. So it is the F block. And then it comes with dies. And what I like about the dies is, you could do so much with these dies because you could layer them and do a diorama card. You could make an album out of them. Just go, from largest to smallest or smallest to largest, however you wanted to do it. Beautiful cards, beautiful albums, beautiful scrapbooking pages. I think this one's going to be very popular. So, look at this, what they've done with it here. They've even made their own gift bag and tag. They made a tag out of it. And they also made it into a gift bag, and they embossed the gift bag. So I think that's just absolutely gorgeous. It's so pretty. So let me show you the paper. I have cut lots and lots out of this already because I absolutely love it. When I first saw it and I saw bunnies and some foxes, I was like, I wasn't thinking countryside. I was thinking more houses and stuff like that, but it's got, those animals in the paper, and it's so cute. It's so cute. Even the bunnies on here, it doesn't look Eastery to me. It just looks like something you would see in the countryside. So these are pages that I've cut. I always put my scraps that I've cut in the front and my full pages in the back. So this is one side of a sheet. This is what I will call the A side, and then this is the B side. We've got some leaves on this side, and then we've got some pretty little bitty teeny tiny flowers on this side. There we go. Got the lining on it. Okay, you see I've just kept all these little scrap pieces here. So we've got the little bunnies. They're so cute. And then on this side is a pretty balmy blue. So here's the big A side and B side. This one has like, they remind me of doves actually. I think they're doves, but they're really pretty. So that's the A side, and then the B side is this really pretty navy with balmy blue, like a pinstripe. And then this is beautiful. This is so ornate to me, and it just, you know, the embossing folder, it just really goes good with it. It's just like a twin. That's the A side, and then we have the B side. And then the little fox, oh my goodness, is he not absolutely adorable? I love the one where he's sitting. I think that's so cute. It's gorgeous paper. And I'm partial to blue anyway. I mean, my card is blue. We've talked about this a lot. Every time I go live about my card is blue, my scrubs are blue. You know, I am drawn to just blue. I'm very partial to blue. So this just screamed at me to order it. But then after you get it in your hand, it's even prettier. And then the B side is this side right here. So that's the paper we're going to be working with. And this is the Countryside in Sweet. And I've already done a lot of the pre-cutting. But I also wanted to show you tonight, after we make the project that we're going to do out of it, I'm making a little Mother's Day mini album out of the die cuts. But I also want to show you how you can use the stamp afterwards. You can use your Versamark with your white embossing powder, and then use your heat tool, and that white is really going to look good on that navy, that night of navy. And then you can also use your white craft pad. And I have a lot of questions about the craft pad, including my 10 members. When you stamp with the white, it's going to look like it's not working, but it will. The longer it has time to dry, the darker the ink pad will get. So that's just something to remember. Okay, so we're going to move this aside, and we're going to show you guys what we're going to be working on today. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I made this cute little mini album, and it's so fun to make. It's so easy because you're just using these dies and your Big Shot. Now, it won't, these are too big to go in the mini Big Shot, but the bigger one I call Big Bertha, this is the, you'll need to use that for these. And then some of the smaller ones, you could use the mini one, but for these big ones, you will need the larger one. And then I use the letters. The alphabet a la mode, they are 2 inches. They are a good size. Great for our scrapbooking projects. I really love these. They come, it took 2 of my magnet sheets, but good size lettering. And a lot of the letters that have multiple letters, like your A's, your S's, they gave you 2 of those. So there's 2 S's, there's 2 R's, there's 2 N's, there's 2 L's, so that makes it nice when you're spelling things out. But these are, I love these letters. So this we're going to make tonight, and all I did was use my Crop-A-Dile. I created a pattern, and then I just, you know, every one of them got the same hole punched out. And then I'm using a little ring. This is a 1-inch ring. There are 2-inch rings, but I got both of them just because I wanted to make sure. This one's a little tight. You want to make sure that when you're giving it to the recipient or whoever's looking at it, you know, it's going to be moved a lot. So you don't want it to be too tight. So even this one, being that I'm moving it, I'm probably going to switch it out because I think it's just a little bit too small. I think the bigger one would give more flexibility when somebody is moving this around. So I think I am going to change it to the bigger ring. But I did want to show you that you can use. But tonight, now this one's going, I always get these mixed up, horizontal and vertical. So this one is, let's see, this one's horizontal, right? So tonight I'm going to make one that's vertical, and hopefully I'm only using the largest size. So I'm hoping that it will be able to stand up. Now this has the alternated ones. Now it does stand up, but I think the other one will do better because they're all the biggest ones. But I used every one except for this one and this one. But I used all the other layers in this one. But this would be a sweet Mother's Day gift. You know, you could put pictures of you and your mom from back when you were little to, you know, how old you are now. And not only can you do one side, but you can do both sides if you wanted to, you know, to add a picture. And it would be a really sweet Mother's Day gift, I think. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. And I've done a lot of the pre-cutting already because, you know, running all that through the Big Shot would take forever. And that's so boring to watch. So let me see. Now, just like we talked about last night, I use chipboard. I get it off of Amazon. If anybody wants the link, I will put it in the comments below. But you can use, like I said, a cereal box, an oatmeal box, you know, a hamburger helper box. I mean, you can cut up those boxes and you're going to cover it with paper so nobody's going to see it. So you definitely can use that kind of cardboard too. But I cut 6 of these out of the largest one, and then I like this one because it's just perfect for, you know, the word mom. And then I cut some random pieces of the cardstock. And you'll need, if you cut 6 of these, then you'll need 12 pieces of designer paper because you have a front and a back. And what you could do if you wanted to, you could do designer paper on the front and put cardstock on the back, you know, and that could be like picture, and then in journaling, you could use a gel pen, a white gel pen to journal. But I wanted to put as many pictures in here as possible. So she'll know what was going on. She should. She's the mom. Okay, so I'm gonna put this aside, and make sure, because whether you're doing it horizontally or vertically, your paper needs to, you know, I don't want it to go this way, my fox to go this way, because my album is going to be this way. So just make sure if you're using patterned paper and it's directional, that it's going in the right direction. Hey, Lindsay. So I picked this one, and I thought I'd go ahead. For anybody that watches that's not sure about a Big Shot machine, I would do one with you. This cardboard goes right through the Big Shot with no problem. No problem at all. I have used a cereal box. I have used oatmeal box. It'll run right through the Big Shot the same way. So, but you will need the big one because it's just too small to go through the small one. So you just want to make sure, I want to make sure that my paper is going up and down and not side to side on this one. Now, what did I do with my dies? I knew this was going to happen. Oh, there they are. Okay. I'm just going to place that in the center. Let me get in camera so you can see. And I'm just going to run this over. Big Bertha. And I usually do it twice, especially if you're using cardboard, chipboard. I go through it twice just to make sure. But it cuts it out nicely. And I always try to put these back or I'll lose them. Okay, so we're just basically going to start, you know, oh, I didn't cut out 2 of these. And this was the wrong size. I thought it was looking a little small. I will have to cut another one because that's, I don't know, I had it in my mind. Okay, but let's go ahead and start. And like I said, I just love this print. This is my favorite one. So this needs to go on the back. So what I did was, like I said, I just ran the big side through with the chipboard, and then I went back through and just picked out random patterns and cut it out again with the designer paper. And then you'll just glue them onto the back. Hey, Tammy. But you could do this with any designer paper. I mean, this would work so easy. I don't know if you saw Tammy or Lindsay, but this is what we're working on tonight. And we're using the Countryside in dies. This one is using the various kinds of dies, the small to medium to large. And this one tonight's just going to be focused on the large. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. And I love this one right here that's sitting down. I think he's so cute. So, just going to the catalog goes live next Tuesday, and we can order again. As a demonstrator, you're able to order things early, and they usually give us a little bit of a list on what we can order on the annual catalog. They give us a list of what we can order. We can't order everything in there. But on the celebration, the one that comes out from January to April, and the one that comes out from August to December, we can order anything out of those. So if you're interested in joining the Stampin' family, I'd love to talk to you. Now, I got a little bit of an edge over here. I got to talking, so I didn't have time to move it. So I'm going to just trim that off. Okay. Now this one I didn't cut right. I cut in the opposite direction, so I'm going to have to use this side. Oh, so cute. And it's funny, I look at all these papers in the catalog, and they're so pretty then, and then I get them in my hand, and they are just, they just look so much better. I just am wowed by them. And of course, I am partial to blue, so there's a big wow factor. I love that piece too. And the embossing folder, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Alright, so I'm just going through and I'm just adding these on. Like I said, I'm using 6 of these, and then you'll need 12 sheets of designer paper, one for the front, one for the back. Ugh, I don't even want to use... I always have that one piece. Now, I did cut this one. It wasn't too hard for me to cut it, but now I don't even want to use any more of it. But I'm going to have to, because you know what? I can always get more. I can always get more. And I will be getting more because I love this. But this would look really pretty on a card too. You could cut out the front of your card. Put your designer paper in the back. Oh, you can make a diorama. Is it diorama? Diorama? And you can probably use a hole punch for this one too. I just like my crocodile because it gives 2 sizes, and I usually use the smaller size. These little albums that you can make, I mean, literally they take no time. And those letters are just perfect. I mean, these make good Christmas gifts. Any types of these little albums. They make good craft fair. I'm going to try these at the craft fair, and I'll let you know. Craft fairs are good for trying. Oh, I cut all that paper wrong. Oh, look at that. Oh, well. This size. next Tuesday, I'm excited for next Tuesday. The number one thing on my list to order first is the Coffee with Friends. It is my favorite stamp set so far. And then the next one would probably be Crafting with You. Can't believe I cut that paper wrong. Oh well. Yes, they are, Miss Tammy. They are the letters from yesterday. It's they're called Alphabet a la Mode. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to use the stamp set because I haven't really played with it yet, but I have some ideas I want to try and you guys can just follow along with me. Alright, so then what you're going to do is just kind of get them in order on how you want to. I think this is going to be the first page. I think this is the second page. Third page. Fourth page. Fifth page. So that's how they'll go, in order like that. And then, oh, I need to cut a piece for this one. Is it this one? No. It's this one. Let me get a piece. Maybe this strip would fit. That's a little bit too small. Let me bring Miss Bertha back in. Now this one would fit through the mini one, but I think it's faster. Stampin' Up does have an updated version of the big die cut machine, but mine's not broke yet, so we're going to use her till she's broke. Okay, so we'll glue this on. And then, so this piece isn't wasted, I'm going to use, oh my gosh, I like this too. Oh, Atlanta. Well, it's going in the wrong direction, so I can't use it. But I can still use my little fox. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop him up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to pop him up. Because he is just he can be the little star of the show. Because he is so stinking cute. This is another way you can add a little depth and dimension to your projects, is to pop them up so not everything is the same size. So this can just pop it up a little bit and give it some dimension. That can go here. So this one may not say Mom because I just love that little fox. I would probably just give it to her without it saying Mom. Or I could take I can make another one, but that's probably how I would leave it. Now, I want it to go this way. I'm still, yeah, vertical. So this is how I typically make sure that the alignment is the same. If you don't have a crocodile, I highly, Stampin' Up used to have one. I didn't get one at the time because I already had this one, the Memory Keepers, but it's got two sizes. It's got the standard regular hole punch, and then it has a smaller one. Now, last night I used the smaller one, and like I said, it's a little tight, which means I need to go to the larger rings. And these rings are really cool. They just open up and close. And I do have a link for these. I get them off of Amazon. Not very expensive at all. And then I just tied some ribbon around the ring, just to give it a little bling. So typically what I do, I either get a pencil or a pen. Yep, they're dies. These, the letters right here, these right here, came from this set. The alphabet a la mode. They're 2 inches. They're really big. They're a good size. And they came from the a la mode. So, and I just kind of eyeball it. I'm not a exact measure person. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And then I'll come in. I'm still going to use the little one and give it a punch. Oh, no, I did use the big one. So then I'll just put this one back here in the middle. Kind of use it as my pattern. And then you'll cut again. And I just go through that and do it. So all of them are going to be in the same place. So this one. And what I like about the crocodile, it has more of a forcible, like it cuts through this cardboard and 2 sets of designer paper like butter. A hole punch, not so much. It's really hard to do. It's doable, but it's hard. Oh, Tammy, that's a great idea. They will love this. I saw their pictures when they were doing Easter eggs. They're absolutely adorable. I mean, you can see it just cuts through that like butter. So I highly recommend a crocodile if you don't already have one. Now I've seen some people put it up here and just crop through the hole over and over again. And while you can do that with the first or second one maybe, by the time you get to the end, this hole is really big. It gets too big. But, you know, for just one, you could do it. But I would not do it for multiple. So you're just going to get these like you like them. And then I usually like to start from the back to feed them through. They call these book rings. So if you're looking for them on Amazon or in a office business type store, they're called book rings. And I just kind of feed them through. And then they just latch. Now, when somebody is moving this one, yeah, the bigger ring is better. Because, you're going to have people going back and forth with this. It's interactive. So I think that I need to change this ring out to the 2-inch ring. Because like I said, this is a 1-inch ring. And there's quite a bit of difference between the 1-inch and the, actually might be 2.5. No, this is a 2-inch ring. So I would definitely recommend, if you're going to make this, this is at 6 and this one's 7. So I would highly recommend 6 and over to use the bigger ring because it moves better and you want it to be able to move as they interact. But what I really wanted to see and why I made it vertical is I think it would look really cute sitting up on somebody's table. If you put pictures in it, it's just like a conversation starter. Like, oh my gosh, that's cute. What is that? And then they can just flip through the pictures. But it's something that is not going to be put in a drawer. It's not going to get lost because it can actually sit up. It can stand up somewhere and see it. Where this one, because there's multiple sizes, it does sit up. It sits up too. But it's going this direction. So if you wanted to display it, it would go this way. And I don't think it's going to sit up really well. Yeah, it doesn't sit up very well. So I like that it sits up. And you could add your ribbon. You can tie your ribbon on it like this. I only had white that matched it. I didn't have any of the darker ribbon yet. We weren't able to order any of that. So, you could definitely find some Night of Navy ribbon or maybe some balmy blue ribbon. I don't have either one. So all I have was the glittery organza ribbon, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, glittered organdy ribbon. I always want to say organdy. Glittered organdy ribbon. So that's, how you could create a really sweet album. Now what I want to see, this is trial and error. Let me put this back before I lose it. As I want to see how it does stamping. Like I said, you are going to have to use the biggest block we have, which is an F. Let me get the glue back together. And I think this is going to look really good with the white embossing powder. So we're going to do white embossing powder first, and then I'm going to stamp it with the white craft. So, now being that this stamp is so big, I don't like to try, because my hands are small, and this is a wide block. What did I say it was? Like almost, this block is 4 and right at 7/8, 4 and 7/8. That's a wide block. So it's really hard for me to get my hands around it and to be confident enough to put it in the ink pad or whatever. So on something this big, I'll take it and turn it upside down. And then I'll take the Versamark and I'll just use the pad this way. Because it's easier for me to hold on to something small as opposed to is to do this block. Even then, I still drop it. But I just want to coat this really well. And before I do that, I need to get the static remover. Now, Stampin' Up, all of our stuff used to be blue back in the day. I've had this long. But what this does, I won't be using that side. What this does is it gets any static off of your paper, off of your fingers. Because Versamark ink is a water-based ink. So it'll pick up your fingerprints. If you've got lotion, it's going to remove all that. So in the area where you're going to stamp, you're just going to lightly use this. I don't know. Some people say it's cornstarch. Some people say it's a mixture of cornstarch and something else. I'm not sure. But it gets all the residue off your fingers so nothing will stick because you can, once you heat emboss, it can pick up your fingerprints and it will emboss your fingerprints. So anytime you are going to be using a heat emboss tool or the Versamark, make sure that you use that first before. All right, I think that's covered pretty good. I am going to stand up because it's a bigger stamp. And I don't know if you can see that, but it did do a really good image. And like I said, it's water-based, so it's going to look wet. And it, you know, even if you were to use like a Night of Navy ink, it's going to look good with a tone on tone like that. So the next thing we want to do, I need to get some scrap paper. Because this stuff can get, it's very fine and we get all over your desk area. Let me move this up so you can see. All right, so this is the white embossing powder. Some people say, you know, depending on what you're dealing with, less is best. More is best when you're doing heat embossing. More is best. All right, so now we're just going to tap that off. And you want to make sure that all your areas are covered. Now, I also keep just an empty paintbrush, and I want to get anything, because once the heat tool gets to it, you don't want it to be on there. So you just want to go through and make sure you get any excess embossing powder off. You don't want it anywhere near your image. And then I set it aside for a minute. And I just fold this up. I'm going to put that right back in my jar to be used again. That static thing, let me look at it in the catalog. Let me heat set this first and then I'll look to see exactly what it's called. Let me cover this up. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a heat tool. Stampin' Up sells the heat tool. I love this thing. It's got a low setting and a high setting, and then it also has a stand. So, you know, it will stay like this before you get ready to use it. You don't want to use a blow dryer. Do not use a blow dryer on your paper. It will ruin it. It's too hot. This is just perfect setting. It has this part inside is the part that gets super hot. This part on the outside it doesn't get as hot. And so when you first turn it on, it's not at temperature yet. And so I usually just kind of run it back and forth over my hand. And when it starts getting hot, I know it's ready. And you'll be able to see it set, the white set. You may not see it on camera, but I see it. You can just see the white changing. But I love white on a dark color. Now that's the low setting. No, that's the high setting, I think. Okay, low, high. But you'll see when you're heat setting it, it'll turn from a little bitty white spot to a very dark white. And that's how you know that it has set. And you'll be able to watch it change. Now, what's cool about this is, say you wanted to use this whole image. Well, you just come over here to your dies. You get the largest one out. And then you could, cut it out and you could use, the whole image. But say you wanted to go, a step further, well, then you could take this one and you could just layer them and cut this one out. And then you just could keep going And you would have a beautiful layered card of this design. It'd be absolutely gorgeous. It would be layered, and then you could pop up, well, the base layer would be glued down, and then each subsequent layer you could pop up on dimensionals, and it would be a beautiful 3D card. And then you just cut this one out, and then you would cut this one out, and you'll have a layered card. It would be absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so that's heat embossing. Now, the white craft pad is also a water-based ink, which means it's going to, the longer it sits and dries, the darker it's going to get. People use it and think they have a dud, or it's not working, or Stampin' Up sent them a broke one. That's the only ink pad that will come to you that most of our ink pads already come with color. Your white craft pad is going to come with no ink in it because it's super, super thick. So they'll send you the inker to ink it yourself. A lot of people don't know that. I was one of them. Okay, Lindsay, let me look that up for you before I forget. I said I would do it after this. I know it comes in the kit. It comes all in one thing. It has a tray now, and it has the little static remover. Number 7 is the Embossings Addition Tool Kit. Kit includes Embossing Buddy. Okay, so that's that little thing that I use. It's called an Embossing Buddy. I don't know the technology term for it. It's just the Embossing Buddy. Powder Pal, reverse tweezers, and small brush. Keeps projects clean, workspace tidy, and hands at a safe distance while heat embossing. So it comes as an entire kit. I don't have that, but I'm going to get it. Because I use paper to do that with, but this has a screw top at the end. So once it's like a tray. And so all your powder goes in there, and then you unscrew that thing and then hold it over your jar, and it'll just all go in there. So probably less messy than what I'm using, but they didn't have this back in the day. Okay, so that's heat embossing. Now let's see with the craft pad. So this is dirty. I need to clean it. I can't do Versamark and craft pad together. That's not good. So I'm going to get this out, and I'm just going to pick it up because it's so big, and I'm just going to wipe it off. These are the simple chamois. Love them. You can just pick them up. They stay wet. When they dry out, you just put them right back underneath the water, and then I usually store them in an old Stampin' Up CD case, stamp set case. And even though it's got ink all over it, it never comes back to your stamps again. It's magic. It's magic. Okay. Now, we're going to use the craft pad, and I'm going to do the same thing. It's too big to try to do it that way, so I'm going to do it this way. I may need to ink mine up again. Yep, I need to ink mine up again, and I don't even know where my ink is. Oh, here we go. Mr. Ink? See, it's not like the other ink pads that comes out drippy, like eyedrop drippy. This is very, very thick. Now, I will either take a plastic spoon, the back of it, or a lot of times I'll just use my bone folder. For white, anyway. Probably wouldn't use my bone folder for... Sorry if you can hear my dog. She sounds like she hasn't had any water in 6 months. She thinks that she has to, if there's water in the bowl, she thinks she has to drink all the water at one time. This must be a new pad because I have one that I've already done this to, so I'm not sure. All right, well, we're going to go with this. So I'm not here all day. All right, so like I said, it looks like it's not going to work, or it looks like it's not dark enough. I'm going to have to finish this. But if you're not patient, if you're not a patient person like me, you can take the heat tool on a low setting and go over it until it's dry. So the longer it sits, or if you've got time, now it's not going to be something quick like the white embossing powder. It's going to take time. So, and it's usually on low. But like I said, you would have to go over this for a certain, I'd say a good 10 or 15 minutes just back and forth. So typically I don't want to stand here this long. I'm very impatient. So what I would do is just put it aside and let it dry, and when it dries, it's going to get dark. Will it get as dark as this? No. This is embossing powder, and it's going to be a darker. But it will, over time, as it sets, get darker than what it is now. And then the embossing folder, I'm going to show you. The embossing folder is gorgeous. I mean, it's not even a 3D folder, but it does a really deep impression. And I'm very amazed with it because, like I said, it's not a 3D embossing folder. So it's a gorgeous, gorgeous embossing folder. It's so pretty. Anybody have any questions? I think you're gonna, if you decide to get this sweet, I think you're really gonna be happy with it. It's a really sweet one. And I like it because it's versatile. There's, a lot of things you can do with it. You can create albums with it. You can do cards with it. You can heat emboss with it. You can use your craft pad with it. You could, do all kinds of stuff with it. I really like the examples, the ones that they've done in the suite. I love all the examples. I love how, like I showed you in the beginning, that they embossed a gift bag that they made, and then they also created a tag with it. They did some stamping. They used one of the dies and created a tag to put on the bag, and I think that's really, really cute. And then they've also used it, as just a place to do their sentiment, as a tag to do their sentiment. They used a tag here just out of designer series paper. And then this one right here, they used the designer series paper, and then they used balmy blue cardstock and then balmy blue ink over it. And then they highlighted it, looks like with some gold embossing powder. And then they created a little sentiment. So, oh, and look, I didn't notice this, Lindsay, but look, you can even cut out the little fox and the little rabbit. That's super cute. You could even do that too. Really, really cute. And then this one right here, they just kind of made like a scene. They cut out, they die cut it out, and then they die cut the fox, the doves, and the rabbits, and then added a sentiment. And you've got a card. I mean, that took like, what, 5 minutes? It took like no time to make that card. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. And then they even decorated the envelope with the paper. So. And the colors in this suite are Balmy Blue, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and Boho Blue. All those blues, love. So let me see. I don't have my Night of Navy over here, but I've got my Boho Blue. I've got Balmy Blue. And I don't have Misty Moonlight. So the darker blues I don't. I've got Night of Navy, but Misty Moonlight I don't have. I need to order Misty Moonlight, but all the blues. I wouldn't have either, Lindsay. I wouldn't have either, because I would have if they had dies, you know, of course, with the animals that you could cut out, because a lot of our designer series paper matches the dies that you can cut out if you don't want to color. But it didn't even dawn on me with this one because the dies, you know, don't have the animals. So I didn't even think about cutting them out. I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, watching me. I hope that if you make the album that you'll post it and let me see it. I think these are really cute. They're easy to make. Tammy, I'd love to see yours when you get done with it. If anybody else does, I'd like to see yours too. Tomorrow, we'll be working with the Cheerful Daisy Suite. I've got a really cute idea for that. So stay tuned for tomorrow. And I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks, guys.